The late 1700s and early 1800s was a time that brought many prosperous inventions and technologies. Just like in my life now, the early 1800s was a great turning point in society. When the War of 1812 hit, we gained a boost in industries just like how we are boosting now. Still, today, we have many great people making many great things, just like in the 1800s. During the War of 1812, Britain was blockading the US, so we lost a big trade route for the US. This meant that we had to hold our own end up to keep moving on as a nation. This led to an increase in manufacturing and factory work. A really big contribution to this was when President set the Patent Act, which protected the rights of inventors. The first female of these inventors to take a patent was Mary Kies, who invented a new weaving process for straw hats, which led to an increase in the New England hat industry. Francis Cabot Lowell was one of these inventors as well. On one of his trips to England, he saw two different machines that spun thread and then weaved it with only using two machines. He liked this idea, so he thought about it and made it so the thread would be spun and weaved all under the same roof. Then he brought it back to America. He called these big machine shops textile factories. This is Eli Whitney. He is also an inventor. He may not seem like much, but he's a big contributor to many neat and more modern guns. A regular gunsmith in the 1800s could take days to make a fully functioning gun. He only had an ingenious idea to have machines manufacture gun parts so the gun-making process would be sped up. He called these interchangeable parts. Because Washington, D.C. purchased a lot of guns for the United States military, Eli brought the idea to the officials, and at first, they laughed in his face. But he persevered and separated pieces for 10 different muskets into piles. To show officials how beneficial these parts were, he put together 10 functional muskets in only minutes. They accepted his idea without much thought at all. With the development of factories came a need for people who are quick, small, and can fit around large machines to change parts. Children were the obvious choice. One of the most notable examples of child labor was the Lowell girls. They were young farm women that were hired to work in mills. They sent their earnings home after a few years of work and moved back to marry. Most people didn't approve of this though, but in the 1800s, people didn't see the difference between working in a factory versus working on a farm. With both these jobs came long hours that could range between 11 to 12 hours or 5 to 6 days a week. Conditions in these factories worsened and wages fell. More and more contention with Britain in the 1800s grew. The U.S.'s trade and supply went down because of this fight, but in the 1812, the U.S. declared war with Britain. This was a really good thing because with Britain blockading us, it made it so we were able to boost our manufacturing. Although Britain won the war, America still kept its morale, and we got a boost for our own industries and we went from workshops to factories.